You're listening to Zeitgeist Banana, podcast all about the English language. My name's Gideon, and I'm in Las Palmas in the Canary Islands, and I'm joined today by John, who's in London, England. Hello, John.
Hello, Gideon. How are you doing? I hear your weather is like an English summer over there, like 16 degrees. It's almost snowing here.
Well, it's funny, when it's 16 degrees here, it's the height of winter and the local people wear heavy coats. Whereas if it gets to 16 or 17 degrees in London, people start, sunbathing and putting on T-shirts and things. Yeah, strange. Everything is relative.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. Well, I'm very jealous. So.
Okay. Well, yeah. I'm not complaining. But I'm working, I should say. I'm not on holiday.
Yeah.
Just ended up here for one reason or another. I won't explain. It'll take too long. But I'm in Las Palmas. It's a great city if you ever get a chance to visit it. But I am working, and today part of that work is this podcast, this very podcast. And today the subject is kind of like words that confuse people, confuse English speakers, English native speakers, and people learning English as a second language. Words that are similar, very similar, and have a nuance of meaning. One of them that we're going to look at is affect and effect. That's just an example. Got quite a few more of those. Actually, both are pronounced the same usually. Effect. That's why people get confused. So we're going to look at that, and then. No, that's all. Actually, we're going to look at.
Well, then you're going to hopefully not make me look foolish by asking me complicated questions. Is that right?
The whole point of this podcast, John, is to catch you out and make you look like an idiot. Even though you're not an idiot, I do my best to try and get people to think that you are. That's my challenge each time.
Yeah, that's very comforting. It's good for my self-esteem. That.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're quite brilliant at times, but I'm going to catch you. I'm going to try and catch you out, nevertheless.
Okay. I'll do my best to sound smart. Could be difficult.
Okay, do your best. If you don't make it, I think Matt Damon I've got lined up as a replacement for you next time. He wanted to take part in this podcast, but I said no. I'm sorry. We're doing it with John. Sorry, Matt. Get lost. John is going to do the podcast with me.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely better than him, aren't I?
Yeah, he said, really. That bloody John. No.
I'm actually going to be in one of his next films. He's told me I can be in one of his next films just so that he can get on your podcast.
Oh, okay. Well, he's going to have to work to earn his bread, whatever the expression is. I think I just made that expression up, but it doesn't matter. So let us begin. So yeah, we'll do it kind of like a quiz. I think you know the answer to most of these, although some of them are a bit tricky. And see if you can give the correct answers to our listeners, our numerous listeners out there. Okay, are you ready?
Yeah, ready as ever. Go on.
Let's start with the one I mentioned in my introduction. That's affect and effect. Notice I'm saying them the same, but in fact, one is with an E, effect, and one is with an A, affect. So, John, your challenge, what's the difference?
One is used as a verb, and one is used as a noun.
Correct. You want to expand?
I always get confused with these. I think effect with an E is the noun, and correct. The one with an A is the verb.
Very, very good. And would you like to give an example?
I will do my best. Yes. The excellent effect of having a podcast is that you make everybody very happy.
Okay. And then affect?
And I was very affected by you saying I'm not very smart.
Okay. Negatively affected, not positively.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think, as I said, I mentioned that the confusing thing is often native speakers will just use a schwa sound to pronounce both words the same. So that's why native speakers, maybe even in some cases more than foreign speakers who might pronounce them perhaps sometimes differently, they see the difference. But yeah, so that's what that causes confusion.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it is a confusing one, though. I think, yeah, a lot of people would get confused with that, definitely.
Okay, so you got a point. Round of applause for John.
Wow, 1 point. I think I'm doing better than I've ever done before, so that's good.
That the round of applause was only one person in the room here, so
those are all your legions of fans.
Yes, so maybe I could record. Maybe I can find a recording of clapping.
Ooh,
yeah, I'll do that next time.
That'll be fun.
And cheering.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Or just fill Wembley Stadium with 100,000 people.
That's in ordinary times. That's a great idea. Yeah.
In ordinary times, that would be possible. Not at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's continue. So I do say they get more difficult. Disinterested and uninterested.
So you want me to say something?
That's the point of a podcast, John. It's meant to be like a conversation, people talking.
Sorry,
I
thought you were going to ask me a complex question. So you want me to tell you the difference between disinterested and uninterested?
Yes, that's the idea.
Okay. Yeah, this is quite difficult, isn't it? So
a common mistake amongst native speakers, I should say. Do you want me to explain? If you're still thinking.
I'm still thinking. You can probably hear it on the podcast, my brain working overtime. So
I thought that was your lunch.
Or my breakfast. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you know, I don't know. Normally my brain's pretty good, but today it's not working as well as it could be. So go on, tell me.
Well, disinterested means sort of unbiased. Okay, so a disinterested party, someone who hasn't got a vested interest in something. So yeah, and so it doesn't mean bored. This subject is uninteresting. I'm uninterested in this, which means this something. It's not interesting to me. It's boring to me. So yeah, a judge should be disinterested. He shouldn't support one side or the other. Okay. Disinterested party.
Yeah, so in that case, he's just kind of neutral, right?
Neutral, yeah. Exactly. Okay. So moving on, loose and lose. I'm sure you know this one.
I know.
It's a common one, I guess.
Yeah, I definitely know this one.
Go ahead.
So loose would be how your jeans fit. So the opposite of tight.
Okay. Yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Or your jumper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
XXXXL. That would be rather loose.
It would, unless you're a rather big chap. But yeah, you're not. You're svelte, so it's fine. And lose would be the opposite of win.
Correct. And how do you spell loose, as in not tight?
So LOOSE, and then lose would be LOSE.
Okay, use your imagination here, because this is Wembley Stadium with 100,000 people.
Maybe I could clap at the same time as well.
You should. I should have prepared this better with the sound effects.
It's like a mallet's mallet competition or something.
Okay. We're on a budget, though. These are tough times. We're on a budget. I can't afford the special effects.
You've just given all your money to the French state, haven't you? So that's why.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, we'll continue. The next one is this is difficult, this one. Especially and especially.
Especially for you. That was Kylie Minogue, wasn't it?
I didn't realize you were going to sing on this podcast. And also, that might be copyright. So there might be copyright claims. So we might get sued.
Okay, sorry. Sue Gideon, don't sue me. So, yeah.
Okay.
So
It's enough having Matt Damon getting angry at me. Now I've got a Kylie Minogue, lawyers. Okay.
well,
Getting
yeah,
in
but
touch.
you'd probably prefer to
Plus
meet.
people who've got taste in music who can't stand your singing. A lot of people getting angry now.
Yeah, I should never sing again. I think I did it on one of my previous episodes as well, which I think was terrible. I
You lost a
apologize.
lot of listeners that day.
I think I did. I think it
Please have
plunged.
more respect to my listeners or
I,
listener.
I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry. So, especially is to give exception to something. So, I am especially good at these quizzes on your podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Means like really to a great extent. I especially liked the I don't know, the vegetable lasagna. Whatever. It was more than you would expect, more than normal, more
Yeah,
than everything else.
yeah.
Okay.
And then the other one is more to do with being special.
Okay. Yes.
Oh no,
I think I'll help you. You're on the right track. You are on
yeah.
the right track. Maybe difficult to get an example straight off the bat. Specially means for a specific purpose.
Mhm.
So this room was specially built for podcasts. My suit was specially made for me. So that's the difference. It means for a specific purpose, especially. So next one, how about some verbs here? To lay and to lie. Wow, I've had so much confusion with this. Even I stop and have to think about it sometimes. So it's a tough one. Lay and lie. In fact, 3 verbs: lay, lie, and lie.
If you lie, it means you don't tell the truth.
Hmm. Yeah, and past tense.
Ed, so it's just a regular verb. I
Exactly.
lied about how good I was at English.
Yes, and he has lied.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's okay. That's
Yeah.
correct.
And then lie could be to lie on your bed,
Hmm.
but then the past would be lay. So I lay on my
Yeah.
bed.
Yeah, very good, very good. And past
Uh,
participle.
lane, is that
Yeah,
right?
lane. Yeah, I don't think we use it so much. Lane, it is used, but a little bit less because usually say I have. He has been lying. He probably uses present perfect continuous for 1 hour, so that's why lane isn't used so much. You don't say he has lain there for a long time, do you? What about lay? To lay as the verb.
I mean, I know it in the rude sense, but I.
Well, okay, we'll get it. Yeah, yes, it's right. But you lay an egg, for example.
Oh yes, of course. Yeah,
To
I
lay an
don't
egg, or
typically.
lay the book down on the table.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So lay is a transitive verb. Lay is a transitive verb, and lie is an intransitive verb. You lay something. You lay a noun. But you lay is followed by a noun. So
And
lay the book
then
on the table.
chicken laid the egg, and then it's
Exactly.
spelled Laid, right?
Got it. I say it's confused. I know you know it correctly instinctively, but it's difficult to explain sometimes. But no, you've got it. Yeah, absolutely correct. Yeah,
Mm.
the chicken laid the egg. I laid the book on the table. I laid my bag on the something.
But it seems a bit strange to say that, doesn't it? I laid my book on the table. I mean, it wouldn't be common, would it? You'd probably just say put.
You'd probably say put, but if you want to say put it there carefully, so you could say lay your head on the. I lay my head on the pillow.
On.
So to say to place carefully, just lay it down over there. So you might use it. It is a bit sort of richer vocabulary
Mm.
because the more common word we put.
Yeah,
So,
I laid my head on Matt Damon's shoulder.
exactly. So that'd be correct. So the confusion is that the past of lie is lay, but it's a different verb. It's a different verb. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. I lay on the bed would be past tense. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Of lie, of the verb to lie. Anyway, check, Google the verb and search for conjugations lay and lie. You'll see that they're different verbs. Okay.
Yeah.
You got it. So yeah,
I'll do that after
you
the
got it right.
podcast.
You yes. No, you got it right. But I could see that. I could see the struggle within.
As you say, I mean, when you put on the spot, it's a bit difficult sometimes, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, well, as usual, I didn't tell you in advance what this podcast was going to be all about, but you got it correct. Well done. Another round of applause. Bravo, bravo. I'll just break in to remind you that if you're learning English and you want to listen to more of John's lovely voice, then head over to English with Monty, where you can hear John's podcast that'll help you improve your English. So next one is also a verb, rise and raise.
Oh, yeah, this is a common one. I get lots of students talking about this. So the sun rises, which means it goes up, and you would call it sunrise. Whereas you're going to raise my salary, aren't you, Gideon?
Get a salary? I didn't know that. That's news to me. But you're correct again. Yeah, raise, just for the grammar, raise is a transitive verb, again, followed by noun. So raise the salary, raise your hand, and
the plane rose into the sky.
The plane rose into the sky. Yes, that's part. So the past of to rise. Well, you want to do this, John? Rise.
Rise, rose, and risen.
Yeah. And raise.
Raise, raised, raised. So
exactly, yes.
Yeah.
A regular verb. By the way, I should say that I did a video a couple of years ago about Emmanuel Macron, the English of Emmanuel Macron, because he spoke in English. And he speaks extremely well in English. He has quite a strong accent, but his English is really good. But he did make one mistake, and that was with raise and rise. And he said, I rose the issue with Angela Merkel, whatever it was, which is not correct. I raised the issue because it should be transitive. So it should be raised, not rose. Yeah, and use the wrong verb.
And so now you do lessons with Emmanuel Macron?
Well, I put out some feelers to the Elysee Palace, but no return now.
That's disappointing.
Yeah. No, but he speaks pretty well. But now you know something that Emmanuel Macron doesn't, listeners, the difference between raise and rise. Okay.
I'm sure he knows it now. I'm sure he studied it afterwards, didn't he?
Yeah. I don't know. He's watched my videos. I think for other things to do.
It's probably a regular watcher.
Yeah, possibly. I'll check my subscription list. By the way, there is a small difference between British English and American English when you're talking about an increase in salary, because in British English you say a pay rise. I'm asking my boss for a pay rise, and American English you use a raise. I want a raise, but it means the same thing. So there you are, a nuance of difference. Okay, we'll continue. Got a couple more for you, and the next one is compliment and compliment.
Okay, so I think I've got this one. So, for example, if I say you're amazing, this is a compliment, which is spelt with an I after the L.
Yeah.
Whereas if I have like a meal, I could say the broccoli complements the banana chicken curry.
And you'd be right.
I would.
It's both with the grammar and your gastronomic observations.
Indeed, yes. Yeah.
Okay, correct. Round of applause. It's getting faint by the moment. Correct. So we'll move on to the next one then. This is a bit tricky to explain. I'm sure you know the difference, but it's a bit tricky to explain. Further and farther.
I think they're the same, aren't they? In the sense that they're both a comparative, and you can say either one, right? You can say, I live further away than you, or I live farther away. Is that correct?
You're correct, but there is a but though.
Go on. Yeah.
Okay, you're absolutely correct. But there's a difference in British and American English. So it's like this. So pay attention, everybody, because this is a little bit complicated. So for distance, you say in British English, far, further, furthest. That's British English. In American English, you'd probably say far, farther, farthest. That's for distance. Okay, when comparing New York, in British English, New York is further away than Paris from London. Okay. In American English, you'd say farther away. But when you're talking about additional information, you always use further. British or American, it's always further. Okay. If you would like some further information, please contact me.
And you'd say furthermore as well.
Furthermore, exactly. Not farthermore, not farther information. Farther information would be information which is a long way away. That doesn't make much sense.
But you can say farthermore.
No.
You can't say farthermore. You have to say furthermore.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because you're talking about additional information. It's only used for distance. You can use farther in American English. Okay?
Right. Yeah.
Right. Pretty good. Anyway, next one. This is a tricky one, and lots of native speakers make this mistake. And the past tense of the verb to hang and past participle.
This is quite tricky, isn't it?
Is it hanged or hung?
I would say it's hung. But maybe it depends on the situation. So I hung my coat on the hook.
Correct.
Whereas I hanged, or the convict was hanged.
You got it in the end. It took a while. Took a while for you. The synapses weren't probably connected today, but you're getting there in the end, John.
I think the caffeine is coming through eventually.
Yeah, eventually. Absolutely correct. If you execute a person by putting a noose around their neck, then the past is hanged. So the criminal was hanged, the murderer was hanged. Okay, but in all other cases, you would say hung. I hung a picture on the wall. I hung my coat up. That'd be the past tense. So you got it correct.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So
that's why I invited you, not Matt Damon, because you know the grammar. Okay, John. Inquiry and enquiry.
Yeah, I know this one. So enquiry is, so with an E, would mean when you make an inquiry for an English lesson through a website, for example. Whereas inquiry could be like an inquiry about criminal investigation, for example. So the policeman made an inquiry about specific information.
Actually, right? I could have to check. I'm having a doubt myself now. I thought it was the same, just American and British English.
Oh.
There might be a nuance of difference. I'll get back to the listener on that, but British English generally say enquiry, and American English might inquiry. There might be an exception, though. I will check that.
Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking in my mind, inquiry as like a noun is more of like an official thing, isn't it?
Okay.
I think.
Okay. Let me give a tip to any teachers out there, if you're listening. If a student asks you a question and you don't know the answer, just say, I'll get back to you on that.
That is a very good tip.
Yeah. And then get the student kicked out of the school.
Is that what you normally do?
That's what I normally do, yeah. I'll get back to you on that.
Yeah.
Get him out. He's a troublemaker.
Well, I can't do that in the podcast episode, though, can I? Because it doesn't make it sound very good.
Perhaps not, but it's just a general tip in life.
Okay.
I find it very useful.
It is
just to hide your ignorance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do it a lot.
Because it's better, to be honest, it's better than, I remember when I started teaching, I'd actually just give the wrong answer. I'd just make something up. But it's better not to do that. Just say, well, you agree with me? You're a teacher,
I do agree with you. Yeah, I think I've met some of your students from Spain who you've told rather strange things to.
Yeah.
And yeah, but it's fine because they paid to do lessons with me, so in a way you did me a favor.
Yeah. No, seriously though, I mean that's true. I mean I used to give the wrong answer, I didn't like to say nothing, but now I just get back to you on that and I check it up, I check the grammar, and then I come back and I say, well, actually it's like this, and that's better.
Yeah, that's much better. Yeah, I mean, as people we can't know everything, right?
Yeah. Of course, if they say what's the difference between a book and a hat, then some easy question, then you shouldn't be stuck as a teacher. You should be able to give the correct answer. But it's a tricky nuance of grammar. Well, we don't know it all.
Yeah. Well, I think anybody in their own native language has these difficulties, don't they?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, sure.
it makes you think a bit more about your own language as well, I think.
Exactly. These questions I've given you today, they're not easy. Not easy.
They're not.
Oh. And as a native speaker, often you know them instinctively, but it's difficult to define the difference.
So are you looking something up or?
No, I'm not doing. I'm going to come back to the next time, the listener. So I'm going to move on to the final one, and this is a really tricky one. And I think even most teachers will find it difficult to explain this one. There is a difference between shall and will.
No, I don't think this is too difficult.
Go ahead then.
So typically, shall is used as a question. Not always, but I would say if you're kind of studying at an intermediate level, I would just say to the student, well, yeah, I would use shall as a question, and we do use it in another way, but don't worry about it too much. And so it's like, oh, shall we go for a curry? So that's like a suggestion as a question.
Yeah.
Whereas will would be more definite, isn't it? So will we do another podcast next week? Is like, I want you to give me a definite answer, and you're like, yes, we will.
Mm-hmm. You're correct. There is a bit more, though. There is a little bit more to that.
There is more, isn't there? Because you could say, I shall get back to you.
Yeah, exactly. I'll explain. I'll give the extra information. You're absolutely correct. Usually, shall is used for questions, suggestions. So shall we would be a suggestion. Shall we go out tonight? No, it's a lockdown. No one's going out, and a curfew. And for offers, shall I open the window? Shall I help you with that? So use shall I, not will I, for those situations. For the present, when it's not a question, the traditional rule is you conjugate I shall and we shall. I shall see you tomorrow. Of course, it's contracted, so it'd be I'll. But in spoken English, most people would say I'll. Okay. But there's been more to it than that. So the conjugation, traditional English, so it's I shall, you will, he will, we shall, they will. Okay, that's the traditional conjugation. But those conjugations are turned around if you're using the word emphatically. So what I mean is like an order or emphatic command. John, you shall go to the ball. Okay. So then the shall, it's very complicated. Then I shall becomes I will. So no. Let me correct myself. I will win the medal. I will win, not I shall. Never I shall, because I'm being emphatic. So you must use will. I will win. I shall see you tomorrow. That's not emphatic. Okay, it's just a future tense. Okay, the students shall not use their mobile phones in class. Okay, so it's they shall, because it's an emphatic command. You got it. It's a bit complicated. I do have a video about it. Maybe you want to see the video I made a long time ago.
Yeah,
explains in greater detail.
It is a little bit.
That is very complicated grammar.
It is, isn't it? But I think, would you agree with me when you say that often it's better to stick with people who are in a slightly higher level? So, kind of thinking about upper intermediate or advanced levels to get much more into this idea.
Definitely. And then only in written English, really. Maybe of course you can use it in spoken English, but if you're writing a legal contract or you're saying something very formal in English, then you might need to know this. So I am really, talking about the edges of the grammar, so you won't use it that often. But just to complete the picture, I gave you the rules.
Yeah. Well, it's good. Yeah, definitely watch the video on Let Them Talk TV.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of the kind of take homes from this, isn't it, really?
John, I heard a rumor that you've got a podcast of your own. Is that true?
I do. You heard a rumor. Well, you're on it. So I don't know why it's a rumor. But yes, it's called English with Monty. And it's very good. It's about the English language, slightly different from yours. I guess we focus a bit more on kind of the grammar elements and giving people kind of direct tips. I mean, of course we do on here, but it's kind of a little bit different, I would say. So that's one of the reasons why it's good to listen to it. And obviously the lovely Gideon is on it too.
Oh, you're talking about me?
Yes.
Yes, I am.
I'm sorry. People don't
do.
usually use lovely as an adjective.
Exactly, together.
Sorry.
Those words don't usually go together. So listeners, go out and listen to English with Monty, and don't forget to subscribe to Let Them Talk TV on YouTube. You've been wonderful today, John. You've been a wonderful audience, and I'll catch you next time. Stay safe, stay mellow, and see you soon. Bye.
Bye.